I hit a pole and a lady called the ambulance, and then they busted the window, took my put a seat collar on me, and I woke up in Barnes Jewish Hospital the next morning. I never forget that day, February 13, 2015. What do you want to know? I mean, I'm James. As you can see, I'm originally from Ohio, born and raised in Akron, Ohio. I'm in the social services field. I'm also a certified personal trainer and life coach. My passion is really helping people. I've been working with people for 20 years. So I work with kids, adults, all races, creeds, colors. And I just really have a passion for helping people. Okay, so a little background story. I'm the only child from my parents' marriage. They were together for 27 years. So they had a good relationship growing up. I heard them argue before, but what couple doesn't argue? But they're married for 27 years. They had a good example of a marriage. And, when they divorced, I was 27 at the time. And it just took me for a loop because my biggest issue was I didn't have anyone to share that pain with. And I would go talk to, people at my church and friends and people who've been through it before, but no one could understand what I was going through because I had no brother or sister that said, hey man, mom and dad are divorced, what are we gonna do? So I internalized everything. So for a long time, I started doing things that weren't right. I started isolating. I stopped going to church as much. Then I started drinking heavily. Like I was drinking, I'd say at least 4 or 5 times a week, just trying to medicate my pain. I realized it was an issue when I saw how angry I was becoming. I was taking out on people I worked with. I wasn't always the best co-worker. I wasn't always the best friend because at the time I was just cared about myself because I was hurt. And I knew that God was still there, but I wasn't leaning on him like I was supposed to help me to get through. I didn't have that relationship with him like, okay, Lord, I'm gonna buckle down and pray and fast more and get into the word more because of the situation. I went the opposite way. Long story short, I was drinking and driving. I had a few drinks and I went across the bridge, the Mississippi Bridge, went to a club, had more drinks, and then when I left that place, I do not remember anything to this day. I remember driving back home. I lived in South City, St. Louis, so it was a good 10 to 15 minute drive, and I do not remember anything from that drive. I did the same thing August 8th, 2015. I ended up at a gas station. I'm at that gas station. I went in and bought some things. When I came out, they said I hit a pole and I ran over the gate. That's when I woke up in the Collinsville jail the next morning. So after those 2 incidents, that's what really woke me up like, okay, you need to do something here because those are 2 situations where you easily could have been dead. You could have killed somebody else. You could have put yourself in, you could have paralyzed yourself, crippled, anything could have happened. So that's when I realized that God really had something in store for me. Well, I had to reach out. I had to get some help. So I reached out to a former client of mine who was a AA member. So he took me to my first AA meeting. And I went there for some meetings. I started back my relationship with God. I started going back to church. I started surrounding myself with more, positive people in every aspect. Like people I work with became more positive. People I went to church with, things like that. I had to cut off the people that I was just partying with. And it wasn't that I was trying to be mean or anything, but I had to do that because, it wasn't good for me. That's why my relationship with God is so tight now. That we talk, every day. Everything wasn't perfect. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days, but like the song says, the good days always outweigh the bad days. And sometimes people don't see it because they're like, man, you used to be like that. I'm like, yeah, but it's just, I'm in a better spot. I love the church that I'm at because now I can share with other people who went through similar things. So now I don't feel like I'm the only person who's been through something. So when I share with my brothers or sisters at church, it doesn't bother me because I know that person's been through something too, and I get encouragement from them. If you know you're going to help somebody, share your story. Like, it's not about being embarrassed or anything like that. It's just about helping somebody else, because you don't know who's going through something else. It might not be drinking. It could be eating. It could be addicted to pornography. It could be addicted to gambling. It could be addicted to anything. And if you learn to open that up, because that's how the devil, or whoever you want to call him, controls you, by not telling your story. Because if you keep it to yourself, he's going to keep hitting you with it. But if you share it and release it, he can't bother you with it. So I think it's just important for us to open up, and it doesn't make you weak. For a long time, I even struggled with that. Like, man, I ain't finna talk, I ain't finna share it with these dudes, man, they don't know me. But when I did that, when I learned to open up, it just released. And I'm a lot happier now. I don't have to hold stuff in, I don't have to hold nothing back. So now I can tell people freely about my struggles, because I'm free from that, and it's not holding me captive. I'm not bonded by those chains anymore.